I'm with the Canadian Artificial Reef Consultants out of Canada, and we've had the opportunity to sink quite a number of these vessels. Between my partners and I, it's upwards of 20 vessels that we've had experience with around the planet. We think this is a marvelous concept, having 4 ships together like this. We've done never more than one at a time, but we've done clusters of ships where we've had a pair together in different situations and different ships. Having 4 ships together like this is quite unique in that, one, they're all Portuguese ships, all naval ships, and I think they're looking at the fact that all these ships serve together in the fleet at the same time. So it's effectively a picture of an era of the Portuguese Navy. I've rarely seen anything in my lifetime where anything that was built or constructed didn't have some negative environmental impact. Whether you're building a building and removing a forest, whether you're polluting a waterway and you're trying to mitigate it and minimize the impact. And these, in my mind, are completely the opposite. We're doing a job here, processing some used equipment that otherwise be surplus, and when we're finished, putting something in the environment that actually improves the environment. It makes it a more positive place and creates its own little biosystem and increases the diversity and the volume of organic material that's in the oceans. And then coupled with that goes the economic impact of the long-term jobs that it's going to bring to this community and to Portugal. You know, you saw on your way in here, down to the littlest thing. Recycling is a huge part of our culture now, whether it's here in North America, recycling is part of life. And you'll see all the metals out here, and all the metals that come off this ship, everything, the wood, the metal, the plastic, it's all recycled, and it's all recycled locally. None of it's put in a container and sent off to somebody at some foreign land. It's all done locally. This space, statistically, is probably one of the most visited spaces by the divers. They always want to go to the bridge, you know, the steering wheel and the controls and the knobs. And all the windows will get removed. And the odd thing about if we leave the windows in place, that eventually they'll grow over and there'll be no light in here. Also, there'll be no water flow, so there won't be any life in here. When we remove the windows, if it was a house, it would look like there was no windows. But with the ship, once it goes down and it grows over, with the windows gone, it looks like there is windows because there's a space that the light comes through. For diver access in here, we'll probably cut a hole in the deck, what we call the deck head here, which would be the ceiling in a house. And so you'll be able to swim right in and allow a lot of light. But when you're in here, you'll still feel like you're in the bridge. As far as the diver safety goes, a lot of it becomes things that you're going to get hooked on. We have to put big enough openings that there's easy access and egress to the place. You can get in, you can get out, that there's good light so that you can see. You're not relying on a flashlight, ideally that there's natural light coming into the area. And a big thing, of course, is hazards that we get hooked on. Now, we don't see a lot in here right now, but above us there's air conditioning units, there's telephones, there's plumbing. We've got things that we can get hooked on. Some spaces, there's brackets that come down. All those brackets will get cut off, so that with the scuba diving apparatus, there tends to be hoses that hook up to your buoyancy compensator and your gauge panels, etc. And you don't want to be swimming along and hooking on things. These ships provide excellent habitat because they've got so many little spots for juvenile or smaller fish, you might refer to them as bait fish, to hide. Whether it's in a pipe, whether it's underneath a bracket, whether it's even in the smallest thing, fish will hide behind here, fish will hide under there, fish will sit on brackets, and that provides a huge nursery effect as far as for things to hide. So the big fish can navigate through, and they're obviously eating the little fish. The little fish hide in the corners. They got some place to lay their eggs. They got places to hide their young. And a big part of the preparation, cutting the holes, is that again that there's adequate light, because most fish and plant life generally like light, just like they do on land, but also that there's water flow, because with fish, the nutrients out of the water column, and if there's no water flow, then the nutrients don't come in. This ship's probably been in service for between 30 and 40 years. So there'll be thousands of individuals that have spent their life on this ship. And for those individuals, I think it's satisfying to know that the ship that they spent so much of their time on and they were part of, because people say that the ships have a soul. They have there's a certain existence to the ship. When this ship is placed as a reef, the ship won't cease to exist. The ship will be out there, and it'll be remembered, and it'll be enjoyed, and it'll be an important part of the world for decades to come. I won't claim that people haven't sunk ships around the planet. The planet's a big thing, and a lot of people have sunk ships in manners that don't adhere to environmental regulations. We're not those people. Like, we pride ourselves on traveling around the world and sinking steps in the most positive manner possible. None of the ships are going to have any negative environmental issues. There's no hydrocarbons left on board. There's no PCBs. There's no lead. There's no heavy metals. You know, so that's our job, is to make sure that there is nothing harmful. And the ship is a great substrate for life.